Good morning, everyone. Leif Spork here in Odda, Norway. I'm gonna have my grandpa's favorite. The breakfast we always had when we went to my grandpa's house. My Norwegian grandpa, Klaus Spork. Um, he always would get our local sausage back in America, United States. He would get Eckridge Farm, or he would get Hillshire Farm, and he called it with his heavy Norwegian accent, he would call it the Lok eggs. I assumed he was saying lock eggs, like L-O-C-K, or maybe it was L-O-C. No one in Norway I've ever spoken to knows what that is, so maybe it was a family thing. Maybe his dad made them for him, and it was a name that his dad made up. I don't know. Maybe it was my great-great-grandfather who's in the museum in Trondheim's way of making eggs. I don't know. I should have asked him. I was 14 when my grandpa died and didn't think to ask those kinds of questions then. So I found this. Again, I wish this wasn't backwards, but this is Hardanger pølse, which means Hardanger sausage. Hardanger is a region here where I'm living. The Hardanger fjord is the fjord here behind me is an extension of the Hardanger fjord. So this is a local sausage. I think it was about $5. So I'm gonna cook these up how my grandpa would do it, and I'll post a video. Now I don't know how to do. I'm gonna try to splice two videos together so we don't have to do a part one and a part two. So let's see if I can do that, and then I can show all this in one clip. So I'm gonna come in here into my kitchen. So what he would do is my grandpa would slice these up into kind of thin slices. I always liked it when it was cooked really crisp, not crispy, but I liked it when the sausage was just about ready to be a little bit burnt. So let's see if I can do this and not take up so much time. This is like a really good sausage. Look at that, it even has a string attached. I guess I'll just cook half of it today. And another thing my grandpa would do is he normally had these in the freezer, so they were frozen. When he was cutting them, they were always frozen, so he was always like banging on them and using a big, huge knife to chop through them, and he always cut them up into halves. There was one saucepan he always would cook them in, and we wished we would have had that saucepan after my grandpa died, because one of my fondest memories was going to my grandpa's in the mornings on Glen Lake and having Sunday mornings. We'd usually do it about maybe 4 or 5 times a summer. So we put them in a saucepan like that. So when he lock eggs, what makes lock eggs special is that you put the lid on it. And I know there's several different versions of this, and people probably put lids on their eggs without even having any name for it. But it was more than just putting the lid on the eggs that are cooking. It was also putting the eggs into the pan after the sausage had fully cooked, so that the juices from the sausage kind of cook into the egg. The pan was nice and hot, and the sausages here weren't frozen, so it's nice. It's really easy to brown them up. Now, when my grandpa did this, I would be sitting in the living room watching cable TV. My grandpa and my mom's uncle had cable TV, so those were the only two places where I would watch cable TV. So I was always so excited to be able to see cable TV. that I would be sitting in my grandpa's living room watching cable TV while my dad and my grandpa would be talking in the kitchen. And I was always waiting for this to be done. We'd have this every single day. I mean, not every day, but every time I would come there, we would have lock eggs. So I'm gonna not cook these sausages quite as long as I probably normally would, because I don't want this video to be like 20 minutes long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to and then I'm going to turn the heat off. It's nice and hot right now, so I'm going to turn the heat right off, and then I'm going to put the lid on there. And you want to know what? I'm even going to take the pan off the heat altogether, because the pan's already hot, and it'll cook the eggs. So let's just wait about 2 minutes here. So another thing my grandpa would usually allow me to have when I would go after, I don't have any of it today, but after I would eat my breakfast, I'd always get a bowl of ice cream. Now, who gets bowls of ice cream for breakfast? So I'd get a bowl of ice cream, and I would sit there and stir the ice cream until it turned into a soup. And that was always in the mornings at my grandpa's. My grandpa from Norway. He stayed in the United States until about September, and then he'd go back to Rurals, and then he would spend from September until May in Rurals. And he did that as long as I knew him. I think he started doing that in the 70s. So So that was just... And he was the only grandpa I ever knew, so it was always just Norwegian. Oh yeah, lots of black pepper, ground black pepper. I just woke up, so my face still feels a little stiff, but... Had a cup of coffee already, though. And just waiting a second here, so let's take a look. So you see the eggs are done. And then you can just take, well, they're a little bit wet, a little bit juicy, but we are going to allow that this time, because I don't want this video to go forever. But you see, the sausages are cooked right into the eggs. Now you can imagine if you kind of let that heat in, cook in very slowly. So there you go. Lok eggs. So this is how my grandpa learned to cook eggs in Trondelag in Trondheim, I assume. So I'm going to enjoy this. Have a great day. I'm going to be finishing sanding and sweeping the floor in the Dunkler at the building.